Okay, so I'm going to talk about the spacing of your stem plants, or any plant for that matter, in your tank. Um, I recently sort of noticed that the plants, or the Rotella stems that were on the outer edge of this jungle I had back here, since then just yesterday I moved a bunch of Rotella for this reason, but I noticed that the stems on the outer edge of this area, so the ones that were on this part and then nearest to the flow of the filter, were I was seeing the best growth from those, and I was seeing the best colors and biggest leaves from the outer parts. And I think one of the reasons for that is that the plants, it was so densely planted that the plants in the back corner here, where I was seeing the stunted growth and sort of not so good looking plants, they weren't receiving the proper water movement around them, so they weren't getting the same amount of CO2 or nutrients compared to the other plants. And I think that might be one of the reasons that the plants back there were sort of dying off. So I decided to completely move a bunch of this stuff. You can see there's a pretty large area that I cleared out for some new plant called Stargrass. Um, I also think it's good for the aquascape just to break it up a little more. I was getting a little tired of having a humongous jungle of one plant, especially when it was so densely planted that nothing could really get back there. So I took a lot of Rotella out, um, and I moved some over here, not much, and I kept a majority of it over here. But the moral of the story is to make sure you're not planting stem plants too close to each other for a number of reasons. The first being the distribution of nutrients and CO2, because unless you have like a power head pointer right at all the stems, they're probably not going to get an evenly spread out of the nutrients and everything, as well as the light, because when they're so close together, they're going to block the light from a lot of the lower leaves, and you're probably going to have some die off or some melting action going on in the lower parts of the stems if you don't have really strong light, especially in a tank like this with low light or low to medium light. That's pretty hard for the light to get all the way down to the substrate. So yeah, make sure you have enough space so maybe the leaves aren't touching each other, and just experiment with that. Better to have a little more room than necessary in between your stems than pack them all in. So thanks for watching. Any questions, you can put them in the comments below.